Been meaning to do this video for about a week now, and I just haven't really had much time to get around to it. Wanted to do a follow-up and show you some of the things that I could do with the Philips Hue app. I'm going to use the iPad for this because, quite honestly, I think that the phone app, well, at least for Apple devices, it's kind of buggy, borderline garbage. It works, and maybe I'll get around to that later in this video. But I didn't read, I think a lot of these functions aren't exactly, they don't document them very well, but I wouldn't really know because I think I threw away the instructions and never did look at them. Anyways, we're at that's the home screen there. I haven't had a chance to really play around with themes and that. I got a couple things that I like, but that's about it. I have 3 presets on the phone. What I was saying about the phone is that it probably won't do it right now, but when I come in to this, I've actually watched some of these presets just literally delete right in front of your very eyes. That would have been deleted there. I think that this was all filled up. At one point I had about 21, and at a low point I was down to 13, and then you actually watch them reappear. It doesn't make much sense, but it does work. It's hopefully the update will address some of the issues. I mean, you can turn it all off, and you can also bridge this away from home, which is sort of cool. So if you want to come home, just kind of have it lit up nice. I'll use a night TV setting. That's just something that I use when I'm watching television. I'd show it with the TV, but YouTube is pretty strict about content, so I won't even turn it on. Anyways, that's probably all I'm going to do with this app. I mean, the one on the iPad is more or less more the same, only better. Now, as before, I mean, you can drag these around, change colors, and I was wondering about whether or not you could assign things, and you can. The one thing that I would recommend, though, I have 9 bulbs, and if you're going to do different rooms, I think that you should install them one room at a time. What I did is I just threw one in the master bedroom, couple in this lamp, because I had 3 with the starter pack. And now I end up 1 and 4 are my master bedroom, and I can't change the order of those. So it's kind of a minor nuisance, not a big deal, but I do plan to add more later on. So if you just kind of slapped them all over the place, you might just have to start over if you want to have some rhyme or reason to where these numbers are. But you can label them, you know, master bedroom 2, kitchen window, hallway 1, hallway 2, entry, and just kind of keep going with that. So now if you want to set up a new one, you just hit the add here. Now this is what kind of bothers me. The screen that you saw before has all the colors that it's capable of doing, but you don't get that option. As far as I can tell, the only way to do that, I believe, is to click light recipe, and then you would choose which bulbs you want, click it, and that would turn off there. So I'm going to have all of these on when I create one here. It's probably going to be garbage, but it shows you what's going on there. Another neat feature, this is something that I use, and you might have been able to see that in the background, how that changed. We'll turn the brightness up here. This is something that I actually use. I don't use it to turn off, but this is where you could use it to set up scenes where it would look like you were home and set them on timers. This is a really nice way to wake up, and I do have one of those. That's one of the settings on my phone. I have a television watching, and then I have a bedtime program, which is just a soft blue and a yellow, and I don't know, it feels nicer. I usually wind down and kill zombies or something on this, and I don't know, it seems to take some of the eye strain off when just have lights rather than a pitch black room where you're just staring at a bright screen 18 inches away from your face. Back to what I was saying, I have one set up for, so when I wake up, you tell it switch scene on, and then I have it do a 9-minute fade in. So I set it up so that if I'm going to get up at 9 o'clock, I would set this for 8:30, or I'm sorry, 8:50, and it will fade in from the lowest setting to whatever max setting you had. So I have it set up for just kind of a nice warm yellow sort of a feel, and I have, my bedroom is like a dungeon, so it just kind of eases you into it. And actually, 3 out of the last 4 nights, I woke up 2 minutes before the alarm went off. So, you know, if you wake up in the middle of a dream, you were startled awake, and I just think that this is it's a much nicer way to wake up. I'm going to turn that off right now. Don't need to use that right now. And then we just have the different things. And I think maybe these are just starting points, I guess. But when you go into the bulbs, oh, no, I take that back. It's not. So you have those 4 presets there. Relax, concentrate, energize, and reading. Now, if you want to do one from scratch, that's what bothers me. That color palette that you saw before, I don't see any way to access that. You have Philips scenes here that you can use, and you would drag it around to where you'd want it. You could use that, and then we'll use those bulbs. So now all 9 are right here. So you'll probably see the light from over here. So I believe that is 2 and 3. So as you drag it around to a color, say like on her sweater, then that's going to go more bluish or whatever. But I really think that there should be that you should be able to use that color palette should be an option. It isn't. What I have noticed up here though is that these are more of your natural lights up here. So I don't know if you can tell over here. Let's see, that must be bulb 3. So if I drag this along here, these are your more natural lights that you would see in a traditional bulb. What I found that I had to do was go and find a picture that has the colors. Well, let's see, we go to camera roll and just kind of work off of something like this. It's not optimal because you don't have the natural colors there. It's nice for accents, I mean, just to have like natural light. You don't, just because you can doesn't mean that you need to light up every single one with a different color. Doesn't need to look like Christmas time or whatever. So you could use that, and I'll just leave it so that they're all on. And yeah, I mean, you drag this over here, we get a red there, and blue. It does work out nicer if you go and download your own picture. Just figured I'd point that out because that is sort of a limitation that I'm not really sure why it is the way it is. I think on another take here, I'll kind of explain this, but I'll show it to you also on the iPad while this is in focus. If you're undecisive, and I mean, this might actually work out pretty decent. If you don't, you can just kind of shake this, whoop, and you see them just move around like that. I just figured that out on accident, but like the whole house is sort of changing right now. You know, you might just see what you come up with, or it might just be a starting point. You might come up with something that you wouldn't have thought to do. So I don't know. That's kind of gimmicky, but it is kind of cool that you can do that. There, they move all around, and everything changes. And you know, then you can save it, give it a name, new scene. We'll just call this one junk. Okay. Okay, I guess my camera has a 10-minute limitation. I use a digital SLR, so don't rip on me too hard about the focus. I know it likes to pick one thing or another in video mode. It's not really its specialty. It's made to take still pictures. But back where I left off, one neat thing is that if you have, say you have 2 or 3 bulbs in one fixture, or just a certain area that you don't want to drag these and try to get like right there. what you can do is drag and drop it on top of there, and that creates a group. And that'll show you how many are in a group. You're limited to 6 bulbs per group, but like I will create a new one here with 2, and I believe 3 is in there. So you can just drag it right out of the group, drop it into another one. That's in a group, so wherever I drag that along, those 2 are going to go together. They're not perfect synchronicity. It just kind of fires off 1, 2, 3, whatever. But it's pretty quick. I'm not going to complain. I mean, considering that all the tech is in that bulb pretty much, except for the base station. So, and that's just a little larger than a hockey puck. I'd say it's pretty impressive. As far as features, that's about it. All right, I figured I'd show about as much of the room as possible, so where you could still see the light over here, kind of bouncing off the wall. I have bulbs in that hallway, this lamp. I have not done that ceiling fan yet. And that's one thing that the bulbs are shaped oddly. So at the end, they're at the widest. And that is made so that it just curves around the natural curve of a regular bulb. So if I want to do that one light, I'm going to have to actually replace the fixture around a bulb, which won't be so bad because I've been being hounded for years to get rid of that ugly thing. Anyways, so I may or may not get around to it. Well, I probably will, just when, I don't know. But yeah, we'll start here. We'll go to all off. We click this blue rain here, and that's mellow for nighttime. But if I'm kind of moving around the house, I'll crank it up. And I just like it. I don't really use a lot of the other bulbs anymore. I was going to do track lighting for the kitchen, but there's really just one setting that I want in the kitchen, and that's just bright, and that's about it. Not to mention they don't make the larger flood lamps, so I'd have to downsize to a smaller can, which I did one in the kitchen that goes over the window, but that's it. And that's the nighttime TV setting. Can't really show you the bedtime one because I'm not in the bedroom. Nobody needs to see that anyways. Just one word, I guess, is since you can do this away from home, and if you're, I don't know, if you're trying to impress somebody or, I don't know, set a mood or whatever, one rule of thumb, do not do this. I call this one red alert. I don't know. It was easy to do, but this looks like somebody's 70s basement party or, I don't know, a serial killer's place. Don't do that. Go with something a little more subdued, like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy. Eventually, I will have more time and I could sit down and want more bulbs. And that's one thing that I want to mention is that if you have a bias against Apple, that's kind of the store too. I believe that's the only store that you can purchase them right now. You're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place if you want to try these out. I'd recommend just suck it up, go in, because at least you have 14 days. If you know, it's $200 for 3 bulbs, and then that one base station. It's not really cheap. And then if you add onto that, well, it runs up quick. But at least you have somewhere you can take it back. Now, see, I went to the Philips website. Yes, you can order them from Philips. However, when you do that, well, I seen that their lead time on that was 1 to 2 months out, and that was just for the plain bulbs. And I'm not really sure when Apple's going to have them. They last time I was there, I've been there a few times in the last couple of weeks for various reasons. I don't normally go there that often, but I did buy them out. I bought the last 6 out, so that's how I ended up with 9. It gave me enough to go on where it was beyond a novelty, and it changes the whole feel of a house. Which is nice. I mean, the timing couldn't be any better because, well, our nights just got longer and it's getting colder up where I'm at. So, yeah, that's about it. And then we'll just do one last random and see what we get. Wait, wow, that's not very impressive. What the heck? All right, we're gonna cancel that. Oh, So yeah, that's about it. I can't think of many more things to show there. I've showed you how to add time, use the timer. Timer's pretty self-explanatory. Some of the options that you can use. I was gonna write it down, but I didn't. Just decided to wing it. So hopefully you learned a little bit about it, and hopefully a couple people that are on the fence might get out and check it out for themselves. I think it's a pretty cool product. I don't regret getting it, so thanks for watching.